Hi, Caitlin. Can you hear me okay?
I can, Greg.
Am I too loud?
Okay, we got a quorum. I'm gonna open up. We are waiting for one member, but in the meantime, we have a quorum, so we will start. Good evening, everybody. I'm Marilyn McDonald. The Bridgewater Conservation Meeting. Welcome tonight, 4/24. Our next meeting is May 8th. Present tonight is myself, Marilyn McDonald, Vice Chair, in absence of Wendy Smith, and I will be running tonight's meeting. Also present is members Eileen Prisco, Mark Peterson, and we have our agent Caitlin Putz with us. This meeting, so you know, is being recorded and can be viewed on YouTube, usually 24 hours later. We are waiting for one member, Harry Barry, and hopefully he will pop on. Just before I read into the agenda, when I run a meeting, you're forced to listen to my quick spiel. Bridgewater Conservation Commission is governed by both rules and regulations of the state and local bylaws, along with performance standards, to ensure that the project meets all requirements and that has a minimal impact on our surrounding wetlands. This is the only way we judge our decisions is strictly by the rules and regs, just so you understand how it rolls. Bridgewater Conservation has jurisdiction on 100 feet of bordering vegetation and 200 feet of any riverfront. Bridgewater Conservation will have the applicant present. Once the applicant presents, if they have a third-party review, we'll let them present. And then we'll open it up to the agent and our board members. Once we do that, we'll then open up any hearing to the staff, to anybody in the audience that has anything on that filing. We do ask that you keep it to a minimum of 3 minutes and wetland questions only. Again, we encourage the public to speak and add any matters to wetlands that are going on during the hearing time. I would ask that you direct all questions to the chair and we'll find an answer for you. The board will do either two things. They'll either close the meeting and make a decision within 21 days. Once that decision is made, it is a 10-day appeal, business day appeal through Mass DEP. If we continue a meeting, that means that you have your notice that is continued to the next meeting, and that's how that will roll. So I'm going to go right into the agenda. We have a call to order. I'm calling to order. We have public hearings, old business, notice of intent, 10 Elm Street. We have new business, notice of intent, zero Hillside Lane, and notice of intent, 70, 76, 78, and 86 Broad Street. So we are now open, and I would have the notice of intent 1010 Elm Street, which I've got notification from Caitlin that they notified the office that a request for a continuance to May 8th. So at this time, Chair would entertain a motion, please, for a continuance of May 8th.
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All right, any further discussion? All right, roll call vote. Mark.
Aye.
Eileen.
Aye.
Myself, Marilyn, aye. And Arizona. Okay. All right. So we'll go right. Oh, I'm sorry. I also was going to, can I have a motion, please? We have a town manager on. Can I have a motion to table out of order under administrative items, Hanson Farm Conservation Restriction Discussion, please?
Motion to hear the Hanson Farm project out of order.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. Roll call vote. Eileen.
Aye.
Mark.
Aye.
And myself, aye. So, Blythe, I see you on. I assume you will be presented for Hanson Farm. I know you had some stuff that had to be resolved with the Hanson. So, please give us any updates that you may have.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. So yes, we have resolved all of the issues with the Hansons and also importantly, the state, which has to sign off on the CR as well. Since I last visited with you, there were a couple of minor adjustments. One was that the owners wanted to realize that it would be important now if they wanted to add the ability to pour a concrete pad in the CR area right behind one of the barns to be able to process wood. As you know, they already process wood for sale, and it would just facilitate, that process. We ran that by the state. They were fine with it. They made some adjustments in the final document for that. There was also a visit by Wildlands Trust to be co-holding the restriction. They realized that the soil types in the purposes section the percentages need to be slightly adjusted. So that's been fixed. And when they did their site visit, they noticed that in the triangular parcel that's across the street, there were a couple of items there that they wanted to make sure showed up in the CR. For instance, there's a hand pump on the corner of of that lot for water that should be noted, and so that got added. So I would like to refer to those as some kind of minor informalities, if you will, of things that it's good to document and have in here for the future. And so late last Friday night, we got the final version that I'd sent to Caitlin from the state, and they run it past the top brass at EEA and said they were ready to sign off. The only change that happened after that was that Wildlands Trust hadn't adjusted those percentages of the soil composition. They did that, I think, Tuesday, and I think I sent Caitlin that version as well. So as far as we're concerned, we're all set. The town council heard first reading on this at their meeting on Tuesday night as well, and they're set to approve this on May 6th. So what we're looking for is the Conservation Commission's approval, because as you know, you will need to do so that you can execute the CR before it gets recorded.
Sounds good. Are the Hansons here tonight that have anything to say like at the last hearing, or are they not here?
I'm sorry?
Are the Hansons on tonight that need to input
I think
anything, or are
that's,
they good?
I'm going to guess that's Jan's iPad, but I don't know who else was attending on their behalf.
Okay,
No, that's not
alright.
her.
It's just Janet Hanson. David and Bob are working. So I don't probably have anything that I could add, but if you had a question, you can ask and I can see, but it's just me on right now.
okay, it sounds like through our town manager that their issues were resolved and we're ready to move it forward. So thank you, Janet.
Thank you.
Any members, Caitlin, anything to add? I mean, I didn't have any issue with that cutting pad, like, you know, when we looked at the plans. Caitlin, anything to add on this?
Nope, I don't have any concerns. I think we're all set.
Okay, Eileen, anything?
No, I'm good.
Okay, Mark, anything?
No, I'm fine.
Okay, so, okay, Mr. Robinson, like I added the last time, if any environmental changes come into play, like any new findings, after we do this tonight, just notify conservation. That's pretty standard, so we can update it.
Sure, I should mention that we did decide to proactively arrange for environmental site assessment, which isn't required, but just maybe good practice to document anything. And so that should be happening sometime in May. And of course, we'll get you the results of that.
And that's what I'm referring to, so
Yeah.
just so we can have that on file with this. would be great.
Absolutely.
Okay, all right. Well, at this time, this is not a hearing, but Chair would entertain a motion for approval of, Hanson Farm Conservation Restriction, please.
I'll make a motion to approve Hanson Farms restrictions. What did you say? What kind of restrictions?
Conservation.
It's a
restriction.
conservation restriction.
Thank you. That should know that word. Your microphone's bad.
Second?
The second, all right, here in a second, any further discussion?
No,
I think we included that in, so, roll call vote, Eileen,
aye.
Mark,
Aye.
and myself is an aye, so you have the blessing of the commission, so. good
Thank you
luck.
very much. You all have a good evening.
Thank
too.
you.
Bye-bye.
You too.
Bye.
All right, we'll move right along into, the next item is new business. Notice of intent 0 Hillside Lane, map 64, lot 42 and 84. I will read into, I saw the green card, so there must be an applicant on for this, but I did see the green cards, and I will now open you officially with the public notice. 0 Hillside Lane, legal notice, public hearing, Conservation Commission, Bridgewater map. In accordance with the Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, in the town of Bridgewater local wetland bylaw, the Bridgewater Conservation will hold a public hearing on April 24, 25 for a notice of intent for filed by Perk Realty Trust. The construction of a septic with grading within a buffer zone and bordering vegetated wetlands to subject and single owned by Perk Realty Trust. It's located at Hillside Lane, map 64, lot 42, and lot 84. Please contact the Bridgewater Conservation Office at 508-697-0950 for the time and location in the virtual link via participants. All interested parties are encouraged to attend. Agendas can be found at www.bridgewatermap.org at least 48 hours prior to meeting. So if a representative is on, you are now open.
Thank you. Rebecca from Silver Engineering. And I will share my screen so we can all see the appropriate one. All right. We have before you tonight a single family home with septic in the buffer to the wetlands. This is a future estate lot, so it's sitting on a little over 3.5 acres. The work is just confined to the small area in the back. We went out for a site walk with the stakes showing where the house was, where the septic field was. It was a very uneventful site walk and it was a very uneventful piece of property. Was there anything else? We're showing erosion control. We're showing all that. That's it. It's just that little bit right there.
Caitlin, anything to add on this?
No concerns from me. Like Rebecca said, we went out with her, Marilyn and I went out there, Friday, April 18th. And Silva was kind enough to stake out the building corners closest to the wetlands and the leaching area. And yeah, we walked the line and I didn't really have any concerns with this. I don't know, Marilyn, do you have anything to add to this?
No, I had the plan, no concerns at all. The line is, if anything was concerted, no, I have, zero concerns on this. So thank you for properly stating. Greg, what filing are you on for, just so I know?
Greg,
Yeah, hi,
Greg, what
I'm
filing are you here for?
for the Broad Street filing.
Okay, all right, I just didn't know which filing you were on. All right, I'll pass it now to the members. Eileen, any comments on this?
no, I'm fine.
Okay, Mark?
I'd like to go see it.
Okay, all right, everything's still staked out there. And any further comments from the board members? All right, so hearing no further comments from the board members, I would then entertain anybody in the audience that has a question or concern on this matter, please.
Hi, my name's Jacqueline Penny. I believe I'm in a butter.
Okay, go ahead. And can you just state your address for the record?
Sure. 85 Charles Street in
Thank you.
Bridgewater. I'm not familiar with like the maps, but is the leaching field right in the wetlands or is it like up right up against it?
No, nothing's in the wetlands. We'll actually have the engineer respond to you. Rebecca, can you answer her question, please?
Of course, of course. So your Charles Street property is on the other side of where we are.
Oh, okay.
If we look at this locus real quick, that septic field is literally like right here, okay?
Got it.
In
Okay.
your Charles Street, but let me answer your question because this wetland does bisect the property and this blue line right here represents the wetlands and
Okay.
our work is way over here.
Okay. Got it. Thank you so much for explaining that.
You bet. I figured Charles Street is so far away, you won't see much.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Is there anybody else with a question or concern on this filing matter?
I am not seeing anybody.
I can stop.
Okay, thank you. So I'll give this back to the board. We can either do two things. Mark wants to go out and see it. We can close it and vote on it next time. If there's anything that he finds, we can do that during the vote, but I can't add anything in new if we close it. So I'm open to what the board wants to do on this.
I mean, I think it's fine to close it.
I'd like to continue it. I mean, I haven't seen it, and it's this is the first time I've seen just a septic system installed without being a part of a full site plan or as part of a reinstall.
All right, it's 2 meetings doesn't slow anything down, so Chair would entertain a motion, please, for a continuation to May 8th.
Actually, I have a
motion.
question. I have a question. Now, this is Steve Mullen.
I'm
I
sorry,
live at
who is
50
it?
Yeah, I live at 55 Charles Street.
You, okay.
I'm in a butter.
Okay, all right. We didn't see a hand raised the last time. Okay, so go ahead, Steve. Thanks.
Yeah, on the chart, I know there's a stream that goes through the property. Could you highlight that on that map?
Rebecca, could you take that one again? I didn't notice any stream when we were out on the walk.
Well, let me pull up the plan of land as it would probably show more. Let me just think of the chart. Get the plan of land up there. We did have Ken flag it, so I probably would have gotten river flags or stream flags if there was such a thing. Let me.
We looked at every flag.
Yep.
I went out there a couple of weeks ago and there was a stream. It was flowing.
Unfortunately, that doesn't
Mm.
define it as a stream. It just defines the channel that was flowing with water. There are
It's going from
Fine.
like east to west,
Yes, it
across the property.
it would be in the wetland area in here,
Uh-huh.
right? But there are rules that define a stream, and that would just be a channel conveying the rainwater off the site. When we went, there was maybe little puddles, Marilyn. I don't know if you looked that deep, but I didn't see water flowing at the time we went.
Now, Caitlin, did you?
I did not see any water flowing.
I did 2 weeks ago. It wasn't going, bottom to top. It was going across the, property.
So you are here, and which way was it going?
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. That's true. Sorry. I was a little disorientated here.
That's okay.
Yeah, it was going approximately where that wetland is.
Correct. That's what I
Right.
would have expected to see.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was
Sorry.
out of the jurisdiction then? I mean, out of our buffer.
So it would
So-
have been in here, and it was conveying the water with all that rain that came.
Yeah, it was flowing, definitely was a stream. I called it a stream at the point, at that time. So
Well,
where would be, the septic system on this,
So
map?
when you're looking at this one, we are, oh, that didn't work, hang on, fail.
Okay.
Shoot, where's the button for, okay, here we are. So the septic would actually be, hang on, I missed, kind of like in here.
Okay,
More like that. So you get
okay, I understand. Yeah,
And
Yeah.
how does it flow?
that's
Downhill?
fine. The stream was coming up this way. That's why, yeah. Okay, that's good. I just was wondering about where the stream was in this.
Again, the botanist went and he did not flag it as a stream, so it may have been a channel conveying water, but by definition, it wasn't a stream.
So
Okay, well, it was raining, that week, so
Correct,
there was quite a bit of water coming through and it
Absolutely.
was flowing,
yes,
so. It wasn't just like a puddle or,
Nope.
standing water. It was flowing.
very valid, thank
So,
you.
Yep.
maybe you can show the guy when he comes out to see the site.
Right, if he wants to. He'll see it. Sure.
Thank you, Steve, for bringing that to our attention. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else before I go back? Is there anybody else on the filing on Zero Hillside Lane? Caitlin, anybody have?
I'm not seeing anybody.
Okay, so Mark, when you go out there, you're gonna go all the way into Hillside Lane, all the way down to the back cul-de-sac circle, and you can get in right from there. So at this time, Chair would entertain a motion for a continuance to our May 8th meeting.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, any further discussion?
May I have a comment for Mr. Peterson?
I
Um,
just
No,
continued.
no,
it.
it's fine. I was
Oh,
just gonna, I'm just gonna say that I'm gonna send a sketch to, so he knows what stakes were out there.
Oh, okay, all right,
That's all.
okay. All right, so, roll call vote, Mark,
Aye.
Eileen,
Aye.
and myself, aye. All right, thank you, Rebecca. We'll see you in on the 8th, and Mark will share his findings, then.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Yep, thank you too.
Thanks, Rebecca.
Okay, moving right along, we are going to notice of intent, 70, 76, 78, and 86 Broad Street, map 21, lot 95, 96, and 97. Let me read the, I've seen the green cards and I will do the notice to open up. So we have, Broad Street legal notice of public hearing, Conservation Commission, Bridgewater, Massachusetts, in accordance with the Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, and the local wetland bylaws. The Bridgewater Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing for on the April 24th, public hearing on April 24th, I did the same line twice. For notice of intent, filed by Churchill James LLC. The applicant, proposes, to demolish the existing commercial building and the construction of 3 mixed, use buildings with commercial and residential space, as well as upgrades to the stormwater management, systems. I should have, made this one bigger. Let's see. An access hard scope and the landscaping. The property is owned by 70 and 86 Broad Street LLC and is located at 70, 76, 78, and 84 Broad Street, including map 21, parcels 95, 96, and 97. Please contact Bridgewater Conservation Office at 508-697-0950 for the time and location of the link. Virtual participation. All interested parties are encouraged to attend. Agenda can be found at www.bridgewatermass.org at least 48 hours prior. Do we have a representative for Broad Street? You are now open.
I'll take that. Let me share my screen, put the plans up. All right. Good evening. Todd McDonald from Crocker Design Group here on behalf of the client, Churchill James, for the mixed use development at 70, 76 to 78 and 86 Broad Street. Here we have the existing conditions. We have the existing commercial building right here with this associated parking lot. The rest of the site is primarily wooded with a little bit of grass up towards the front area. And our wetland resource area is out in the back right corner. We have the 50-foot wetland buffer comes into the very corner of the site. And then the 100-foot buffer comes through a little bit further in. Now, if we move forward to the proposed site, what we have is three mixed-use buildings with commercial and residential. We have parking lot driveways for access. We have improved stormwater management, and we have retaining walls around the outside to support the new grading scheme for the site. And in terms of our impact on the buffer areas, we have all of our work is completely outside of the 50-foot buffer, and within the 100-foot buffer, we have slight amount of pavement, and we have our retaining wall systems. Everything else on the site is outside. We have landscaping on site. We have a stormwater collection systems. One thing about the site is that we're improving the situation by having less stormwater being discharged out towards the wetland area because it's being collected on site and treated on site. Let's see. That's really it for the presentation. I saw that Bob was on. I don't know if he has anything you would like to add. If not, we can move on to questions.
Hey, Todd, nothing to add from me. Just reiterating that we're improving the stormwater management of the site. Thanks.
Marilyn, did you just say something? You were muted.
That's because I'm muted. Whoops.
There you go.
Had a blonde moment. Greg said he was on for this filing, correct?
He is, yes.
All right, Greg, why don't we have you weigh in before we go around? Did we lose Greg?
No, I'm sorry.
Oh, there you are. Okay.
Yeah, so what I did is I reviewed the drainage, and I submitted a report. There were some comments. I'm not sure if the applicant has gotten a chance to review the comments, but the highlights of it is I don't believe anybody from the town was present when the soil evaluations were done. There's an issue with the design point 1. It appears that they have taken design point 1 as being the overland flow going over the right-of-way line in Bedford Street and then getting picked up by catch basins. And there's a portion of that design point that actually gets hard piped into the drainage system. So I'd like to see some clarity on that issue. There's a few things on the plan that I would like to have labels, like the inverts, primarily the inverts in and out of each underground recharge system. And I'd like the applicant to double check the flow structures, the outlet control structures that they have on these subsurface recharge systems. They didn't quite agree with the invert elevations of the stormwater report that was modeled in the HydroCAD program. So I just want to make sure that there's consistency there. There's just a number of other minor things, drafting things that I picked up with watershed delineations and, the watershed plans should have north arrows, stuff like that, cleanup work. But what I'd like to do is to have the applicant take a look at the report and just do some cleanup and some verifications that I asked for. And I'm not sure how the commission feels that I haven't witnessed the soil evaluations. I don't believe anybody from the town witnessed them. If they did, that's fine, but I'll let the applicant weigh in on that if he so desires. And then the last thing that I can recall is a mounding analysis. Some of these units didn't have 4-foot separation from groundwaters, and that would require a mounding analysis. So those were the key takeaways that are in my report. And if anybody has any questions, I'd be more than happy to entertain them.
Super, Greg.
Mr.
Thank you very much. Very thorough on the report and everything. So, so obviously to the applicant, there's a lot of, you have to be able to meet the stormwater requirements of the town. So it looks like you've got some homework to be doing there. As far as the soil goes, as a soil girl myself, I do feel that somebody should be present. So if it wasn't present during that, we would need to find that out, Greg, if there wasn't a town personnel present on that. Caitlin, I mean, I looked at the wetland line. The wetland line, I don't have a concern on. So, but there's, other things besides the wetland line. The stormwater is a very big thing. So, Caitlin, anything you want to add?
Yeah, I mean, we went out there on Friday. Again, no concerns with the line. Nothing crazy on site. Obviously, there's some things needed to be changed in the stormwater, but on the NOI side of things, I didn't really see much of a concern.
Does the applicant, before I go to the rest of the board, want to respond to anything of Greg, please?
Mr. Tanzi, just a question. This is Bob Cormier, representative for Churchill James. Where is your report right now? Is it with the planning board? I just haven't seen it forwarded over to us. And obviously we want to address your comments.
I believe the CED has it. And
Yes,
Okay.
I can forward it to you, Bob.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we have it. Okay, then I'll pass it to Eileen first.
I really don't have any questions.
Okay. Mark, how about you? I'm sure you want to go out and take a look yourself. There's a lot of stormwater that we have to work on, but anything else that you think of right now you can add, please?
Yeah, well, actually, where is the wetland on this?
Way in the back.
The
Wait a
far
minute.
back right corner.
On the right, not on the left corner? Isn't there some,
Not the,
No, it's far right. It's far right. It's obviously the same one that was on Mr. Pascal's plans years ago. Just a very small sliver.
It is
What's-
small.
what's the area behind the bank? There's an area behind the bank that has a lot of wet area. Is that just a failed stormwater management area, or behind the cooperative bank? Yeah, right up there, that area.
we had the site delineated. We didn't pick up anything over there.
And yeah, I'm gonna check on that to see what's over there, because I mean that is a very wet area. It's filled with water right now. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a failed detention ditch from years and years and years ago or something, or I don't know exactly what it is. But yeah, I was confused as to what the wetland would be on this because I didn't see any listed on the GIS. Another question I have is stormwater design. Is that's something that planning board would be the final approval on. That's not necessarily us.
No, we're stormwater also. We have to make sure everything is in compliance with stormwater, especially with conservation.
On the zoning, it says that that's part of planning boards.
It's also shared by planning, but we have to make sure that, you know, it's conservation board, that they're not going on somebody else's property with stormwater, or that they're in the compliance. So we certainly, for all the years I've been on conservation, we do look at stormwater in the report.
Will that be something that planning board also looks at?
Yep, it's kind of like a
Yeah,
double on that one. Planning board looks at it too.
So, yeah, and just a point of clarification, we're the first project through the new technical review process and the new zoning. So the planning board, I believe our meeting is going to be on May 7th. They need to ensure compliance technically to be able to write their recommendation. But I don't believe the zoning is written that the stormwater management as it sits now, obviously we're going to address the comments once I get Mr. Tanzi's report, but it shouldn't impact the NOI that's before you.
Exactly. And that's why I was wondering why we were even seeing that.
Right.
And you hadn't even received it yet.
Correct.
So yeah, I just want to make sure everything goes through the right process. That's my biggest concern. And yeah, I'd like to see the wetland lines better. I know that something about Pascal, the people keep saying that as though I should know who Pascal is. I don't know who it is, and I don't care. I want to see where the wetland is on this.
Everything's flagged out there, Mark. Just shoot to the right when you go back.
Sure.
You'll find it easy is what I'm saying. It's newly flagged. Eileen, did I already ask you for any questions?
No,
All right, no questions. So again, I
I'd
mean,
like to go out there.
I'm sorry, what?
I'd like to go out there myself.
Okay. All right, sounds good.
Marilyn, can I just make a quick comment?
Absolutely.
I know that and I both went out there, but I just want to make note to commission members, you don't need me to go out there. You can go out
Yeah.
there, make sure you have your badge and make sure you can identify yourself, but you
Yeah.
have a right to go out there. You don't need me to go out there.
Absolutely. All right. So before I put this to the thing, I mean, again, the stormwater issues will be a concern. If, you know, please address those with Greg, before Greg does attend our meetings also. So I will now open this, Caitlin, to anybody in the audience that has a question or concern. And again, you know, keep it to 3 minutes for wetlands. Thank you.
Bob, I see your hand raises that from, oh, did you just drop it? Let's see. Gotcha.
Sorry, that was.
Oh, that's okay. I just wanted to check that you didn't have anything else to add.
Thank you.
No worries. I'm not seeing anybody else.
Okay, I can ask the applicant if they feel that the continuance to the next May 8th meeting is enough time to address Greg's, comments and concerns, or do you want to go to the second meeting in May? It's your call.
That's fine. No, May 8th is fine. Like I said, we're gonna have to do that for the planning board meeting on the 7th anyway.
Okay, all right,
So
in the meantime, the rest of conservation will get out, and Chair would entertain a motion, please, to continue to our next meeting, May 8th at 5:30.
So moved.
Second,
All right, here in a second, any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, Mark,
Aye.
Eileen,
aye.
myself, aye. Thank you very much. We'll see you all on May 8th.
Thank you.
Okay, we are going into, that was it for new and old business, so we're gonna go right into administration business. Under conservation business, we have already heard Hanson Farm. We have Lakeshore Vegetative Management Plan discussion. Caitlin, you wanna start that off?
Marilyn, we do have the
Hiawatha.
certificate of compliance for Hiawatha Trail listed first.
What was that?
We do have Hiawatha Trail, the certificate of compliance listed first on our agenda.
How did I miss that? My lord. Okay, a certificate of compliance, Highway Trail Map 54, Lot 10, C10. Applicant representative, BWH2 Trust, Michael Costa, DEP file number FE 116-1535. I'll let you take that away. And it's Mike there. Or...
Yes, I'm here, Madam Chairman.
Hi, Michael.
Hi. I'm here representing BH Bridgewater Homes 2 Trust. file number SC 116-1535. We would ask the commission to, I filed a Form 8A, would like to close the file number. And on May the 8th, I have submitted a new plan for a new NOI for the house that wants to be actually built there. The new house goes into the buffer zone by about 5 feet, so it'd be about 95 feet from the wetland. So this would be our first step to get to the spot that we want to be in eventually. Is to close this file number.
Okay, Caitlin?
Yep, and just to add to what Michael's saying, the work was never completed. So if we issued the COC, nothing was done, and you and I have been out there multiple times, Marilyn, so we know the work was never completed, nothing's built there. So I don't have any concerns issuing the certificate.
Okay, all right, very good. Any comments from the board members?
Nope, I'm good.
Then, okay, then Chair would entertain issuing a notice, a certificate of compliance for Hiawatha Trail Map 54, lot C10. That's 10. That's C10. Anybody? Motion to issue compliance?
I'll make the motion to issue a certificate of compliance on Hiawatha Trail Map 54, lot 10, C10.
Okay, Karen, a second.
Second.
All right, all in favor, Eileen?
Aye.
Roll call, Mark?
Aye.
And myself, aye. Thank you. Have a great night.
Okay, we'll see you on May the 8th, and I don't know if you want me for any discussion on the replication area that was done out there, which is the last item on the agenda.
It may be beneficial for you to stay, Michael. We did go out there and check it out, so we can give our part, and then if you have anything to add to ours.
Okay, I'll hang on.
Well,
Thank you.
you know, Chair would take a motion to take it out of order, seeing as Michael's here right now. Can anybody make a motion to take on?
I'll make a motion to take Hiawatha Trail replication out of order.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Oh, second, sorry.
Thank you, Mark. All right, all in favor, roll call. Mark?
Aye.
Eileen?
Aye.
Myself, aye. Okay, Mike, you want to start, or Caitlin?
Well, the replication area was staked. Plants were put in the replication area. I went by there today and I see that in the wetter areas, cat nine tails are growing, which they're a good absorbent of any pollutants. I believe that from what I saw, the water in that area is high in iron, so you see a orangey type of a situation there. It's not anything that's a problem. It's just that the water is high in iron. The silt fence was in place. I think there was sweet pepper bush that I saw. There was a couple white oaks that were planted. The majority of the area was sedges that were overtaking the area, and just beyond the silt fence, you could see the skunk cabbage from the original wetland line that Dr. Walter Hewitson did. And I did submit a replication plan that was part of the conservation review, who knows, way back when. So that's what I saw today. And if you have any questions for me as to where do we go from here, I guess more or less, Greg, and you can correct me on this if I'm wrong, but there's a line item for the bond to assess a number for the replication area if it's deemed to either want more work done to it, or if it wasn't completed properly.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Caitlin, I know you've been working with Mike on this, so you want to open up?
Sure thing. So yeah, Michael was kind enough to provide me the plans. And so we took those plans. Marilyn and I went out to the site last week on Friday. And like Michael was saying, we did see some sweet pepper bushes planted. I saw a few high bush blueberry. One thing I want to make note is on the replication plan that Michael provided, I believe it said 15 red maple trees were supposed to be planted. I believe, Marilyn, we only saw 2 trees and they were white swamp oak. So in terms of the replication area, it was kind of hard to get a count on all of the bushes. I
Yes.
did see that bushes were planted, but as
Right.
you said, Michael, there's a lot of other growth happening too. So I don't have an exact count of the bushes.
Okay,
But we did notice that there were not 15 of the red maple trees that were specified on the plan that you gave us.
What I'll do tomorrow or shortly before the next conservation meeting is I will work with you and I'll ask Mr. Cutter if he could provide me a list of plants that he bought from the nursery. And then from there, it was Mr. Dyer that did the replication area. I will try to find out where these plants were and we'll have a discussion as to if we are a little bit short or if they're all there, or what else may need to be done.
Perfect. That sounds good to me.
Okay,
Yep. Yeah, cause it's a fairly large area, so,
it's
Yep.
about 7,100 square feet.
yeah, like I said, I think that was done before my time, but, yeah, I'm gonna echo what Caitlin says. We had a busy Friday, so we did
Yep.
get that too.
No, in the next couple of weeks, we'll come to some resolve there.
Okay, great,
All right.
okay. Thank
All
you.
right, so-
Anybody else, Eileen, Mark, anything from Michael before we leave?
No, I'm all set.
I'd like to see it actually. Is that someplace I can just kind of take a walk out there?
Yep, it's, you know what East Street is? So if you were East Street, right before you turn onto, I think, like Auburn, you'll see a construction road. It's literally right on the right mark before you go to the bridge area where they worked on. Anybody else get, I think it's direction, so anybody else get better
East
direction?
Street down by Old Plymouth Street, Mark.
Okay, and the plan for that's the one inside the file or the folder, Hiawatha Trail Lot 10 C10, or is there a different site plan?
There's a different one. Michael gave me a plan for the replication. I can send that to you.
Yeah.
Mark, yep.
Yeah, it
Just
has
so,
a list
because
of,
that'll give you a
what
better
they would
reference to
plant.
where it is.
Certainly.
But you'll be right there after the first house on the corner, because we went too far up the first time. It's literally right there, the first house after you turn in.
Okay. And I just, off the top of my head, I was just thinking, is there anything to protect the red maples from deer?
Yeah, I mean, there is deer fencing, something that can be used, so we can certainly discuss that with them.
So I'll go check it out, and I guess we'll talk about this next meeting.
Okay, sounds good. All right, thank you, Mike.
All right, thank you. Have a good evening. And
night,
Thank you.
Mike.
All right, we
we'll
crossed that one
see you
out.
in
We
a
crossed
couple
this one out,
weeks.
crossed
And
in some time out.
Caitlin, I'll be working with you. Thank you.
Sounds good.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Bye.
All right, now, next up on the conservation discussion, we have Lake Shore vegetative management plan discussion. Caitlin, you want to start that, or do I see Ken's on here too?
Yeah, so we did a couple of site visits, Marilyn and I. The last one being last Friday, where we kind of went over the plans that were drawn up. And I do believe we have Ken Thompson on for us to present the plans. Let me just see. Give him permission to share. All right.
Okay. Okay. Can't see the plan. Hold on a second, please.
No worries.
Take your time.
Can you see that?
No, I see you.
Oh, there it is. Sorry. All right.
Perfect.
All right. Let's zoom in. It's a 2-year process we're proposing. We will be working, this is the western area. We'll be getting into the 25-foot buffer just for working on the top of the slope. And down through here, we're mainly planting common juniper, which is a low-growing, very dense juniper. I mean, it's a strong shrub area, you know, provide cover for turtles and all of the things like that. As we move more to the east, we have an invasive problem. Let's see if I can get it there. I'm just trying to get it so you can see it. All this hatched area's got a cover of glossy false buckthorn, Moreau honeysuckle. There is some black locust, but it's mainly undergrowth of the existing trees. So we want to leave the existing trees in place and add these other plantings, like these circles up here and down in these sausage-like things down in there of native plants. I'll show you those in a second. But what we want to do is then circle them in a 7-foot deer fence and then just mulch those areas out. The wildlife removal will happen in the first year. And what we'll do is come in here and dig out all the buckthorn and stuff like that, but we'll stabilize it with depending on the time of year, winter rye or a buckwheat, excuse me. So the area is stable for the winter. And then we'll get back in there in the spring, early spring, and what we'll do is we'll weed whack our cover crop down, and then we will seed the area and roll it. So we have the contact with the soil. Then the wildflowers would be there. Now I'm limited in when I can get in there with a weed whacker and things of that nature. So normally about July or August, I'd get out there and weed whack it down to 8 inches so that there's light getting to the forbs of the wildflowers. But we can do that in September. And then long-term maintenance is to hit it again after November when everybody's in hibernation. And that will control the woody vegetation because we're going to have seeds from the buckthorn, the honeysuckle, things of that nature. So,
yep.
So it's a long-term approach to get it all wildflowered out, you know. And it all depends on our restrictions with the turtles.
Were you gonna get a rendering plan? That was to kind of see from there?
We didn't have the time to make this meeting.
Okay, all right, that's fine. Cause you know, I just kind of got this, I think today, so I really have to go over it pretty good, but just to give you an FYI on 9, it looks like there's a typo, 4/22/30, 2035, I think, or something like that, I don't know. But you know, I think you're off to a great start. I like the shrubs, I like getting rid of the invasive, and then the long-term monitoring. Again, I'll take a better look at this. I know that, you know, we're missing one conservation member tonight that will want to take a good look and have input. So with that being said, Caitlin, any input on your end?
Just kind of echo what you said. I think starting off, their plan looks good. You know, when we did the site walk, I like the idea of the wildflowers, from slope to toe, and the juniper bushes sound like a good idea. And the deer fencing in place will prevent anything from going wrong for the plants to settle in. So
Yep.
I think we're off to a good start.
Okay, sounds good.
Can I
All right,
see-
I'll pass this on to Eileen for any comments right now.
Yeah, no, I looked at the plan earlier today too, and I'm good with it so far.
Okay. And Mark, would you like to add anything?
Not really at the moment. Well, actually, I want this, what I'm seeing right now. Can we get this? Is this anywhere available?
Well, make sure you get a copy of all this. This is the ones we are playing with as our final presentation, because we have existing trees and they're grown, and like serviceberry, flower and dogwood, redbud, those are really kind of shady undergrowth trees. And then we've got the high bush blueberry, sweet pepper. We're up on a slope, up on a terrace above the wetlands.
Yeah.
about 8-10 feet. And so it might be some adjustment to the shrubs, more, more upland black huckleberries or some seed producers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Now, when you said you'd like to get it out there to cut the cover crop, the winter rye or the buckwheat, you would like to get out there in July, but you can't do it because that's the turtle season.
Yes.
Now, is that pose a risk that the winter rye might get out of hand or the buckwheat?
Oh, no. It won't get out of hand. I'm just trying to open it up so more light gets in it during the growing season. But, first off, it's going to be a stabilizer for the winter. And then we're going to take it down to basically the ground. And then after that, we'll probably put a second cover crop on it. No, it won't stop it. This is how people do it. You know what I'm saying? We'll go in and prepare the seed bit in the first year and add some compost and, we're going to get rid of most of the roots, hopefully, of the buckthorn and things like that. So it's something we need to do to stabilize the site because we are next to the lake, but then it actually helps some of the small stuff grow. And that's why they normally go in the middle of the summer and cut it down just to open it up a little bit. But we're restricted on the times we can actually work. That's all.
Thank you. Like I said, you're off to a good start, and always notify your agent when you'll be in town, and the botanist will be on site. And so will you be back with the rendering plan? Do we want to put this back on for discussion? Caitlin, I'll take your advice from here, and Ken.
Yeah, I mean, if it's possible to get that for the May 8th meeting, I think it'd be worth just putting on another meeting.
Yeah, I think one more meeting, then we can, make the call on the BMC. Give everybody a chance to get a good look. Sound good, Ken?
We'll try.
Okay. All right, you know how to reach Caitlin if anything else is up, and we'll see you back shortly. Thank you so much. Great efforts out there.
Thank you.
All right.
Enjoy.
Yep.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, guys, is we just wait to them. 17 Plymouth Street discussion, and I'll give that to Caitlin.
Yeah, so last meeting, we had a discussion about this. We didn't get to go out to the site yet. We're planning to go out next week, just to take some soil samples, to see with what's shown on Mass Mapper, what's going on with the soils, if they're hydric, if so, where do we go from there? I'll connect with DEP. If they're not, then, it's not really a concern. So we just really need to get in the soil and verify, is Mass Mapper accurate in what they're depicting on the maps or not? And like I said, I talked to Joe, and you were out there too, Marilyn, and he said he didn't fill anything in, so it should be easy to just use a hand auger to get down in the soils. And yeah, we'll see what happens next week.
I gotta bring something up. So the property records for that site show that it is 20% wetland, and the value of the land is adjusted for that on 1731 rear Plymouth Street. So the assessor records show that it's been 20% wetland on that affected site.
Okay, so let's see.
Yeah, and I sent this to you as an email if anyone wants to make a public records request for that. And also, the other thing I was going to bring up is that there are site plans on 2019 when the property was sold last, and the site plans say that there's wetlands on parcel B, which is 1731 rear Plymouth Street, and they're just not listed on the site map. And there are site plans from 2003 for when they were developing Easy Street, and right behind lots 8, 7, 6, and 5, there is wetland depicted on the property. I think it's 1585 Plymouth Street. There's wetland there, and connects up to what is parcel B on that site plan, which is 1731 rear Plymouth Street. The other thing to consider is some of the work seems to have happened on 1719 Plymouth Street, which is owned by the town of Bridgewater, and that's where the town wells are for Plymouth Street, wells 10A and 10B, and that is a wellhead protection area, and that's wellhead protection means 400 feet from the well itself, and it seems like quite a bit of work was done there. Even a berm being there would have required approval from the Conservation Commission. So whereas precedent is such that we tell property owners that if you even think there's some wetland on your property, you should contact the Conservation Commission. If we were not contacted for any of this work, then that, you know, it seems like we should have been contacted. Because it is reasonable to for a property owner to know that there's wetland on their property.
Are you seriously asking me this right now?
Hello?
Can somebody please mute? Mark Peterson is the one speaking. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm speaking. Eileen, can you mute, please? Sorry. Where the property card, where they were getting a value adjustment or paying less taxes because there was wetland on the property, that would have been reasonable for a property owner to know that there's probably wetland on the property that they're doing work on. That's my belief.
Good. Yeah. Caitlin, did you get everything on that?
Yeah, I just want to ask Mark, I know you mentioned there were plans from 2019 and 2003, I think you said.
Yep.
Did you get those on the registry?
Yes, registry of deeds. I sent you the plan, sorry, the book number and the page number.
Gotcha. And then let's see.
I also sent it to Marilyn too.
Okay.
And since it was sent to a bridgewatermass.org mail account, anyone can make a public records request for that email.
I don't recall receiving anything. All right. Okay, so Caitlin, so the game plan is auger that area that we didn't visibly see any signs, but again, that, you know, there's other field markers that we can use. And then if you want to follow up, you know, with the stuff with Mark, I get confused.
Yeah, I'd be happy to do so. Certainly for 1719, with the wetlands depicted there, we can take an auger. We'll be out there anyway. So certainly we can check the soils out there too. But
can we go out there tomorrow?
Tomorrow? No. We're planning to go out there next week.
We'll go to two separate things. We can go to the site because it is town property. We don't need to get approval from the property owner of the other parcel. So we could go out there tomorrow, right?
I'm not available tomorrow. I don't know what Caitlin's saying, but I'm not available tomorrow, and I got to figure out what my availability. But I definitely know I am not available tomorrow.
So So next week you're gonna go out there with an auger, the handheld auger that I've seen you and Harry and Eileen use.
Correct.
So that goes down about what, 3 feet?
Yeah, but you
go
know,
down
you can go
about-
deeper. You can pull it out, keep going.
But
So
above 3 feet though, right?
Yeah.
Usually about 18
And
inches if you're gonna-
this is a property, it's a sand and stone operation, and they have equipment that can go down 50 feet, right?
Yeah,
You
they
know,
have heavy machinery. If
They have
if
machinery.
it called for it, I'm sure they would be happy to help us out. But Joe had mentioned to me that nothing was filled. The berm is obviously around the property, but nothing was filled in. So we're gonna start with the hand auger, see what we can get. If we need, you know, we can ask Joe if we need any other equipment, but I
mean, the one
anticipate
thing
the
I'm
auger will be
comfortable with
sufficient.
is sorry, Caitlin. I mean, the one thing I'm comfortable with is she is communicating with Mass DEP. Everybody's, you know, cooperative. So, you know, we have to find out what we need to find out. But yeah, we've got, you know, help. So
who's contacting at Mass DEP?
So when I discovered the Mass Mapper maps on 1731, I calculated on our GIS, the town GIS, you can figure out the acreage. And I know that we've talked about if it's over an acre, sometimes that, sets DEP off and they want to know. So I contacted DEP. I talked with them. I gave them the details. And this is kind of the game plan now of, get down to the soils. They don't recommend, but, they said it might be a good idea to see if the soils are hydric or not. If we find that they are, I will go back to DEP and then we can find a, next step solution.
Yeah, but what communications have you had with DEP? Just one communication, the phone call, or?
We've had a couple phone calls.
And
I called my
any
contact at
email?
DEP. She asked me to email her. I emailed pictures. She called me back and we talked about it. And now this is our next step.
Yeah, and Caitlin did tell the owner that, she was upfront with them that she would be contacting Mass DEP just to let them know what was going on, by a call, so, we'll keep. Mass
Yeah, I didn't
DEP.
want any surprises.
Yeah.
So, yep.
So I think, one step at a time, but it's definitely an investigation point and to see where we're at and keep gathering information.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, anything else? All right, I'm gonna move on to D, item D, minutes for 3/13, 3/19, 3/27. Mark and Eileen, have you had a chance to view them? I printed them off and viewed them.
I viewed both of them. I would separate. I don't want to vote on the 3/13 yet. But the 3/27 seems fine. The site visit seems fine.
Is there anything on the 3/13 that you need to bring to our attention?
I don't know. I haven't thoroughly.
Oh, you haven't looked at them?
Well, no, I haven't looked thoroughly at it because I
Oh, okay. All right, well, that's fine.
I haven't compared it to the transcripts.
If you haven't looked at them, we don't want to vote on them. Eileen, did you look at them all?
I did. I
Okay.
just recently, right before the meeting.
All right.
And
So why don't we just, I mean, we can vote 2 out of 3, or we can just table it to the next meeting.
Well,
I don't care, whatever you want to do.
I
Continue.
think we just leave it till the next meeting. So,
Yep.
yeah, so that everybody has a good chance to read through them. Okay, that's fine. We'll table those to the next meeting. And that would lead me to E, adjournment. If anybody would make the motion, please.
Motion to adjourn.
That would be a second, Mark. Thank you. All right. All right, everybody all in favor, just signaling by aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it, and we'll see you back on the 8th. Thanks,
Okay,
Caitlin.
bye-bye. Good night, everybody.